All right, welcome to The Explainer. This is where we get into the big ideas shaping our world. And today we're looking at something really special, a social enterprise that's not just a business idea, it's a lifelong mission. We're talking about a 30-year journey to create a modern rite of passage for young girls. So let's start right at the beginning with this quote from the founder, Lindafaye Newton. It's really powerful. She's talking about a community in crisis, and you can just feel how this one observation, this one moment, became the spark. It ignited this deeply personal mission to step in and support a whole generation of young girls who they needed guidance. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll go back to the beginning, her calling in Memphis. Then we'll talk about why this is so needed. What is this modern rite of passage? After that, we'll get into the how. What actually happens inside the Sister Card Club? And finally, we'll look at where the enterprise is today. All right, let's set the scene. We're going back to 1992. The founder, Lindafaye Newton, she's an educator, and she's seeing this critical gap opening up right in her own neighborhood. And, she just felt like she had to do something to step in and fill that void. And this timeline, wow, it really shows you the sheer dedication we're talking about here. This isn't some startup idea that just popped up overnight. No. This is the result of more than 30 years of hands-on, in-the-trenches work. And now, all that experience is being poured into this workbook, which is the foundation for launching the whole social enterprise in 2025. Okay, so we've got the personal why. Now, let's zoom out a bit. Let's look at the bigger picture, the universal challenge that the Sister Card Club is really designed to tackle. Because this isn't just a Memphis story. It's a challenge that young girls face, everywhere. So what is the mission exactly? Well, at its heart, this whole program is set up to be a truly transformative journey. And they're focusing on a really critical age, right? That 10 to 14 window. The whole idea is to give these girls a clear, structured path, not just to learn skills, but to build a really deep sense of their own self-worth and find their purpose. And I love how this breaks it down. You see the problem on one side and the solution on the other. It's so direct. This shows you it's not just about, feel-good talks. It's about building a solid foundation. You're struggling with self-love? Okay, we're going to guide you through self-discovery. Feeling lost about life? Here are the tools to build real self-confidence. It's just a very, very intentional approach. Okay, so that's the what and the why. But what about the how? How does all this great mission stuff actually turn into a real program that girls can join? Let's take a look inside. So, what makes this different from, say, just any other after-school club? Well, the founder points to two things that are absolutely key. First, there's a real published workbook. This gives the whole thing structure, a curriculum. And second, there's the carding ceremony at the end, which is this really powerful symbolic moment that celebrates how far these girls have come. And here's the journey a girl takes, broken down into 4 clear steps. It all starts with a workbook. That's where the personal discovery happens. Then they get guidance from peer mentors. We'll talk more about that in a sec. They have to hit specific benchmarks to show they're learning and growing. And it all leads up to that big moment, the carding ceremony. And get this, the credit card they get isn't for buying stuff. It's a symbol of the credit, the belief they've earned in themselves. How cool is that? And this mentorship model is just brilliant. It has this incredible two-way impact. Think about it. The younger girls, the 10 to 14-year-olds, they're getting advice from someone they can actually relate to, Not some disconnected adult, but an older girl who's been there. But at the same time, those older mentors, the high school and college kids, they're learning how to lead, how to teach. It's a total win-win. All right, so we've got a powerful mission. We've got a really clear process. Now, let's talk business. Let's look at the venture itself, because this is the moment it transforms from a personal passion project into a real, formal social enterprise. And it's right at the beginning of that new chapter. And to really get where this enterprise is at today, you have to appreciate just how grassroots it is. The total investment so far, just $3,000. That's it. A mix of the founder's own money and a few small grants. And check this out. Total revenue from customers so far is $400. This really shows you we're at the very, very beginning here. They're just starting to test the waters, prove the concept, and land those first crucial paying customers. And what about the team? Well, right now it's a team of 1. It's completely founder-led, 0 employees. But there's a plan, and I love this plan. They want to bring on interns from local universities, which just keeps that whole cycle of youth empowerment going. It's genius. So this little snapshot table kind of sums it all up nicely. You can see it's a pre-revenue, hybrid model, part nonprofit, part for-profit, running on a super lean budget.
And the key here is who they're trying to sell to. School systems, after-school programs. That is how you scale this thing and make a huge impact.
Of course, it's not all going to be easy. The founder is really clear-eyed about the challenges ahead. And it's interesting, the biggest hurdles aren't about the program content. That's solid after 30 years. The hard part is going to be marketing it. Convincing schools and other groups why this is so necessary, and then just navigating all the growing pains that come with success. But through all those challenges, you've got this. This quote, it just gets right to the heart of it all. This is the fuel for the whole enterprise. Can you imagine? After 30 years, her belief is stronger than it's ever been. Getting that workbook published has unleashed this whole new wave of energy. You can just hear the conviction in her voice. This is the time. Now is the moment for the Sister Card Club. So as we wrap this up, the story really leaves us with a bigger question, one that goes way beyond just this one program. We live in a world that's obsessed with massive, scalable, top-down solutions. So what's the real value, the true power of an initiative like this one? One that's hyper-local, totally passion-driven, and born from one person's lifelong dedication to her own community. That's the really powerful idea that the Sister Card Club makes you think about.